Thanksgiving. It's also Thursday. Welcome to Thursday Thunder. I'm Bradley Shrubiner, your host. So I was asked by my Toastmasters group to do a speech on Thanksgiving. I'm one of the few Americans in the group, and they said, give me a different Thanksgiving. Like what's sort of a crazy story? And I thought back to family holidays and turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes, and then I thought about one that wasn't quite as traditional. I was with my then girlfriend, now wife, Saskia, and we had just come down from Malawi, Mozambique, and we were in Zimbabwe. And it was towards the end of November, and we're staying at this lodge in this town in the Highlands. And the town's called Chimanimani. And we're staying at this lodge there, and I was so impressed by there was this woman working behind the bar, like working at the lodge, right? I think she was from Oregon. And I thought, wow, that's a real traveler. I'm just a tourist. I just like hop in pickup trucks and travel through Africa. She's at a whole nother level, right? So it's almost Thanksgiving, and it turns out she's got to leave. And so, surprise, the management of the lodge asks my wife, "Would you like to work here?" Wow. And so we went back to our little hut, our little chalet. Chalet is quite a nice word for it, more of a hut. And we're talking about this, and I'm saying, well, he can't do that. I mean, right? That no, that's people like that do things like this. Come on. And yet she said, well, wait a minute. We're on this big adventure. We have no plans, like at all, to be anywhere except for a wedding in February in South Africa. That was it. That was our whole plan. We had no plans for Thanksgiving. We had no plans for Christmas. No plans for New Year's. I don't know anybody on the entire continent except for a few people. And so we're thinking, wow, well, let me go to the calendar. But it wasn't even such a calendar question. It wasn't an availability question. The rational side of the questioning was all gone because all that pointed to why not? And yet our mindset said, oh, we're not the type of people who do that type of thing. Yeah. We were a passive audience traveling through Africa, yet we were not active participants. And I thought, what makes that switch? When do you become the active participant transferring from the passive audience? And what turns those people from the type of person who doesn't do that to the type of person who does do that? And I'm out there, right? I create videos. I've just published my 27th book. I have no fear. And yet back then, I had published 0 books at the time. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of, oh, well, that's not my life. I can't do that. And yet, who pulled me out from the doldrums? Who reached their hand down into the ditch I was living in and pulled me up and said, you can be the type of person who does this type of thing? That was Saskia. So my girlfriend says, I'll take the job. And I think, oh my God, you have just become one of those people who does that sort of thing. You are working at a lodge in Chimanimani in the highlands of Zimbabwe, in Africa. I mean, who does that? Well, apparently you do. What's up with that? A week later, I was offered a job too. Can you see? The glass ceiling had been broken. The wall had been torn down. And it was easy for me to step through from being the passive audience to becoming the active participant in my life, the active participant in my own life. I was being the passive audience. I'll take the job. That was our Thanksgiving. We ended up staying for 5 weeks. We ended up, we worked through Christmas, we worked New Year's. I was serving beers to the chief of police of Chimanimani on Christmas Day. That is my most memorable Thanksgiving. And I today am thankful for that woman who reached her hand down to me. The guy living the passive audience. The guy who was the kind of guy who didn't do that type of thing. From a woman who was living as an active participant in her life. And she was the type of woman who did that sort of thing. And she invited me up, and I took her hand, and I took that first step into my new life. And I became the type of person who did that sort of thing. Who will raise their hand to you? Who will reach out to you and pull you up on that first step to be that active participant in your own life? Not their lives, not somebody else's vision of whatever life it is, your life. You have to take that first step. And I wish I could say I was strong enough that I just busted through the wall on my own. Nope. I needed help. And I got it from her. I got that invitation. The hand reached down to me. I pulled it. I brought myself up. I today, on Thanksgiving Day, am thankful for her. If you need that invitation and you don't really have somebody in mind who's going to reach that hand out to you, I'll be that person for you. From the passive audience to the active participant. It's your life. You can sit back and watch the entire time. There is no rule that says you have to be the active participant. Yet, is it a life worth living? From that day on, my life was different. From that day on, I became an active participant in my own life. And for that, I am thankful. Happy Thanksgiving.